Rental property organization. Do you need separate LLCs for each property? Do you need separate trusts for each property? Let's dive in. Okay, so let's say this is a question I get pretty often, particularly when it comes to LLCs, multiple rental properties, maybe in multiple states. Should you put each rental property into its own LLC? If not, why? If yes, why? And then I got another question the other day, which was, should I put my rental properties into multiple trusts? The answer to that question, by the way, is no. There's no real reason to put your properties into multiple revocable living trusts in particular. You get the same treatment no matter what. Because remember, revocable living trust doesn't provide any asset protection. None. While you are alive, you and the revocable trust are the same. You can move things in and out of the trust. You can change the trust anytime that you want. You can literally do whatever you want with your revocable living trust. There's no reason to make more than one. Okay, that's it. I was about to tell you an exception, but we'll just do that in a different video. Okay, and you would never, by the way, as an individual, want to create two revocable living trusts. It literally makes no sense. So if it's just you, one trust. If you're married, most of the time, one trust. Okay, if you're not sure, call an estate planning attorney. Okay, like myself. All right, now let's tackle the LLC question because that is a little bit different. And there's also no specific answer to this question. When I talk about asset protection to potential clients, to you, I always talk about things being on a continuum of risk assessment and risk averseness. Okay. Some people, they fly by the seat of their pants. They're not too worried about things happening. Some people are worried about everything happening and want to protect against everything. So imagine, risk being on a continuum, and where you fall on that continuum is going to dictate what you do when it comes to your property and your family and asset protection. An LLC, putting a rental property into an LLC is generally a good idea. It will sort of silo that rental property off from that was weird, by the way. Don't pay attention to that. That will silo that rental property off from the rest of your assets. So personal bank account, personal investment account. If someone, slips and falls at your rental house, it's not likely that they're going to be able to go after your personal bank account. Okay, the judgment, what they'd be able to get would be limited to the value of the property. Okay. For that reason, some people think you should put one property in one LLC. If you have one property in one LLC, though, the paperwork starts to add up. The time starts to add up. The likelihood of something happening and you being sued is relatively small. So at some point, those two things cross and you don't want to do that anymore. What I have seen most often with people that have multiple rentals is they will sort of batch them into one LLC, similar properties. So if you have 4 single family residences in Dayton, Ohio, you might put all those in one LLC. If you got 4 duplexes in Birmingham, Alabama, you might put those together in one LLC. The one caveat to this is if you have properties in different states, you will likely want to put them in LLCs created in those states. If you make a Nevada LLC and you register it in Missouri, you're going to have to disclose that. Okay, you're going to have to register that LLC in Missouri, and you're going to have to follow their disclosure rules. Okay, so this is not about anonymity, by the way. This is just about asset protection. We'll talk about anonymity later. But unless you're like a movie star or whatever, again, anonymity is not all it's cracked up to be. Okay, doing this LLC stuff is better and more appropriate for 99% of the people in the world. So whether or not you need one LLC for one property is going to depend on your sort of your risk profile. The maximum risk adjustment is going to be one LLC for one property. The lowest risk profile is going to be no LLCs for your rental properties. I've literally seen people on both ends of the spectrum. I have seen clients that have 20 rentals, no LLCs. They just don't care. And by the way, never encountered any problems. I've seen people that have 5 rental properties, 5 LLCs. Okay? Just depends on what your risk profile is, on what you want to do. Before, by the way, you make any concrete decisions, before you make any moves, again, talk to a lawyer. Okay? If you're in Washington State, talk to us. If you're some other state, talk to somebody else. Talk to an attorney and really sort of assess your own specific circumstances. All right? Then, once you have your revocable trust, your single revocable trust, when you create these LLCs, you are going to have the LLCs be owned by the trust. This has nothing to do with asset protection. This has everything to do with avoiding probate. Okay? The trust owns the LLCs. When you die, there's no need to transfer those LLCs to anyone. They are in the trust. Your successor trustee steps in and does what you tell them to do with the assets in the trust, which include those LLCs which hold those rental properties. Okay? I think that's it. So, should you put your rental property in multiple LLCs or multiple trusts? Hopefully I've answered that question. Okay? If I have, that's great. If you want to get more information like this, subscribe, like, ask questions, comment, show me some love. Share this with somebody that you think it might be interested in it. That'd be great. If you're in Washington State, you go to cmslawfirm.com and you can set up a time to talk with us if you want to. That would be great too. All right. Otherwise, that's it for today. Okay. So hopefully you enjoy this. If you did, that's great. Until next time, see ya.